Well, I finally killed it for good. You see a puff of smoke coming out of this thing. Obviously, because I dip in water and vinegar, and it probably shorted itself somewhere. Obviously, I never actually connected this RGB connector, so I think it probably got shorted between the circuit, between the pump and the RGB actually, because before it died, it actually lit up some lights. Obviously, I knew this before I go in there, dipping the pump into the water. It's kind of, you know, beating on a dead horse. See what sort of result I can get out of it. But yeah, so you'll see the rest of the video of how I did it, and yeah. So DCIOs is not really about dead pumps. It's about maybe corrosion or bad water with like calcium or iron debris inside of it, and over time it builds up. And then when you move your AIO around, or computer around, I mean, these debris is actually breaking off from the radiator, and it'll flush into the pump and the block. And once those debris gets there, they'll just have no water flow, and that's how I killed it. So yeah, I mean, I would think this AIO will last a very long time if I haven't moved it. Obviously, this computer, it's you know, it's an ITX build, so it's meant to be moved around. So yeah, just one of those things. Just hope, you know, when manufacturers build these things, they should not cheap out on the water, and you know, calcium and iron buildup. It's not a good thing. Yeah, that's it. All right. So, looking at this, DIO is not actually cooling the CPUs, you know, it's climbing up. The CPU temp is slowly climbing. So it looks like there's either no water flow or the pump is dead. Let's see how far I will climb. Alright. I mean, I'm tempted to fill the water as much as possible. And looking at this, it's just basically not getting any water through it at all. So maybe I didn't put it back properly, or the pump is just dead. But I can feel the pump is trying to spin. Alright, I think I'm gonna try it off and then take it apart again. Alright, the first two screws I'm getting off is these stupid one-way screw. Now my last video, I think I mentioned, is I was only using number 5, but today I verified that I was using number 6. Yeah, number 6 on this thing. I guess using it zoom in. Yeah. Number 6. But yeah, I gotta try to pump in a little bit more water to see if the pump is working or not. Well, look at that. It looks like it's still full of gunk inside. So it might seem to be that there's more gunk everywhere else. I need to push out more water. I'm gonna get a bucket, see if I can pump as much water through the radiator, and we'll see. I got everything hooked up. Looks pretty disgusting. Got the power, and we're gonna start priming, see what happens. Yucky. All right. I'm turning the pump around, so the hose is on the bottom here, and I'm gonna pump water into it. Alright, I've run that about like 10 times, turn it on, off, you know, pump half a bottle of the water in there. Yeah, it's about 10 times I did it, and I'm gonna try to fill it up as much possible while having the pump turn on, and then I'm gonna seal it up and see how I do. Alright, I don't know why I just keep foaming up like this. But I'm gonna actually put this little rubber piece on and try to run a few more times before I close the block. Let's see what happens. So this thing is also super dirty again. I'm gonna try and clean it and see what happens. Alright, get a quick rinse. I don't know how good it is, but you know, I think it will do. So what I'm gonna do is actually just gonna fill this up all the way and then close this copper block. I'm not gonna screw all the screws in, probably just for each corner, and then we'll let the pump prime for like a few hours, and then we'll see how it does. All right. Get this thing running. Still dripping water. No, it's probably from before. I'm gonna leave this thing run for a little bit and see what happens. Alright, ideally you don't want that radiator to be on the bottom, but I have no choice in this case because I got this bucket. But the pump is running and it's not hot yet. It's not dripping crazy amount of water. I think that 4 screws in there is good enough. I think I'm gonna let it run for a few hours and then check up on it, open it up, and see if there's any more gunk in there. Alright, I have to resort to using some tap water and dip the pump in there because I've been trying to get the gunk out of this thing and ran almost a whole bottle of this thing, the still water, and there's still gunk coming out of it, and I have only run this about maybe 45 seconds, and you're already seeing all the debris that's accumulating down the bottom of the bottom of this bowl. So yeah, so it is disgusting. I don't know what's growing there, but I'm just gonna let it run a few times, and then hopefully it gets cleaned out at some point. We'll see. This has been maybe around 5 minutes at very most, and you can see all this collecting in the bottom. Jeez. Well, I mean, I know there's RGB in this thing, but you know what? It's already dead anyways. Might as well beat on a dead horse for a little bit and see what happens. I'm gonna actually just probably change out the water a little bit, see how it progresses. I'll be right back. Alright, so I got some tap water in here, and right now I'm just beating a dead horse. But the reason I have this, you know, shrink wrap or whatever, fresh food wrap over it is because I have cats and I love to drink the water in here. So, yay. And we'll see how this thing drinks out and come back in like 3-4 hours and see what happens. Alright, this is the second day now. I have flushed this using tap water, which I don't recommend to do, but you know what? This is beating a dead horse scenario. But I am gonna dip this into tap water again, but instead of just tap water, gonna add some a little bit of vinegar in there. I think in there there's a whole bunch of I think calcium or iron buildup, because I believe these things are manufactured in China, and they're probably cheaping out on the tap water side of things, so they were adding probably just tap water into these into these AIOs, and I think that's what is causing all these buildup. I don't believe it's bacterial, just because of all the chunks coming out of it. It's quite look like calcium or slash iron buildup. So get that to run again. See what happens. Well, I think this is the end of this AIO. I don't think it's gonna come back alive. Basically, I have it hooked up to the power supply directly and turn on the power. Nothing. It looks like it has died. Probably from me dipping into the water. Yep. I'll probably let it dry for a few more days and then see what happens. I mean, there's no way to get it back to life without, you know, pumping into water a few times. So, I mean, it was already dead anyway, so hey, that's the experiment, I suppose.